Let's jump into this. So I know, right, we had the recruiting class come in, transfer in high school. How are you feeling about it, like right now overall?
I think transfer portal class was exactly what was needed. You got a lot of guys with previous production. You got guys who got ties to the staff. I think so yeah, I really like what they did in the transfer portal. You got better in the secondary. You got you got a wide range. You got guys from FCS all the way up to Power 4 SEC starters. You got a really good blend of talent. And I think you got some guys with some things to prove, and I think the attitude is there. Sometimes people don't play not because of talent. Sometimes they don't play because of mentality. And I think as of now, it's hard to tell, and I really want to wait until I see more. But I do think you've got some guys where it's you can go look at their history, you can go look at their sound bites, you can look at their previous interviews, and you can tell that the mentality is different. So I'd say I'm really happy with the transfer portal class. I think there's some talent to be desired with the high school recruiting. Just to keep it a buck, I felt like it could have been stronger, but that's something that's getting worked on as we speak. And I also feel like the position group they needed the most help in my opinion, was the linebacker group, and I think they knocked linebacker out of the park. When you think about Carson Crawford and Rodney Colson, two guys that depend if Colorado didn't recruit so well in the transfer portal, they would play significant minutes day one, and they still may, because you got Rodney Colson, who's been a 4-star damn near his whole life. I mean, since I've seen his name, he was a 4-star almost. One of those guys who matured early and just refined his technique year after year after year. And then you get the Crawford, he's a freak. When you think about his athleticism, how well he runs, a sideline to sideline guy, as he gets into that nutrition program, and my man Carl Solomon hooks up those plates, you're going to see him put more pounds on. And I think he has everything in him to be the next great Colorado linebacker that's been recruited from day one. So there are some bright spots, and I love Preston Ashley. Great energy out of Ashley, man. I think he was the quintessential Coach Prime defensive back that he needed, and he's not the 5'11" or 6 feet guy that the controversial thing that Coach Prime said about his corners, but they cut the quote there, and because he said, "Hey, we got some slot guys that are ballers that need to be paid more, and I think they will be paid more," and I think Preston Ashley fits that mold excellently.
Yeah, 1,000%. You're spot on, and I wouldn't throw out. I wouldn't miss on Colby Johnson either. I think he's also in the linebacker room is going to be a contributor, and I think on that point, right? I think there are a lot of guys that you look at, like even the guys on the offensive line, the Josiah Manus and the Xavier Paynes, who are like, these are all guys that I feel like they have a very specific vision for, and they're not just throwing out offers to guys because they have 3 stars. It's like, we expect you, we have a role for you, and we expect you to play early. And so that's really cool to see. It's also going back to your point before. I'm a basketball guy, on the other side of football. And if you ever played NBA 2K and tried to rebuild a team, it's not just about getting the best 5 players on the court. It's about creating a cohesive unit. So looking at last year's team, it was like, yeah, you brought in a lot of talent. There was a lot of stars all over the place, just didn't mesh well. And it looks like this team, from what I'm seeing, is already meshing infinitely times better than what we saw last season.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that mesh can start from the top, and I think that there's a certain level of expectation being placed on these guys that may be a little bit different. I think Coach Prime being involved and not recovering from cancer this year, him being involved in a level that I don't think he's been as locked in as he is now. And that's not because he wasn't doing a good job previously. It's because, man, you really face death, and then you go back and you don't have the season that you want. And you could think to yourself, and you say, if that was it for me, would that be how I want to go out? And I think Coach Prime is the type of guy that says, nah, I'm not going out like that. So I think the renewed vigor that he has, I saw it personally. I went in December. I went out to Colorado. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but I definitely went. And I did make a video, and I said, look, I called Coach Prime Primo Brown, like Nino Brown from New Jack City, right? I said, look, it's like he's in a Carter. It's like he's checking. And if you watch, and if if you've ever seen New Jack City, you knew
Mm-hmm.
Nino Brown was checking every corner of the Carter, which was the place where they made his product. That's exactly how Coach Prime was. He was involved in everything. I went to recruit and I heard him going over. How did this guy make it to me? Like, you know, and well, it wasn't supposed to make it. Like, it wasn't supposed to make it to him, but he was going up close he was going further up the assembly line because he wanted to know everything that was going on. So, yeah, I definitely think you got there is a different feel. Let me say that, to say the least.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think that's what it sounds like, right? I know, you know, we heard some things again, right? There's a lot of noise after the season when, you know, you come off the season they just had, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk, you know, some rumblings or whatever it may be about, you know, Coach Phillips and what happened there, you know, and, you know, I don't want to, it's not about him. It's about what changes have you seen? You know, you explained that pretty well a minute ago, but what changes have you seen or heard now with Box leading the way?
I mean, Box is a Phillips disciple. Like, you know, they taught each other. I mean, he learned a lot from Phillips, and sometimes it's just like I think with Coach Phillips, he kind of got a bad rap, right? In my opinion, I think. But when you go 3-9, somebody has to wear that.
Yeah.
That somebody got to wear that shirt. Nobody wants to wear the ugly shirt, but they're gonna put it on somebody. I think he got scapegoated a little bit. But then you look at some of the things that he did. When you look at the players that were brought in, like, did you miss on London Merritt? Did you miss on Alexander McPherson? Did you miss on Tawfiq Bayard? Like, did you miss on these guys? Like, these guys, now you didn't retain them, right? But you didn't miss. And so I think I think we have to, because it's easy. It's super easy when you get mad and you're losing. He didn't do this, and it's so many. Every school in the country has a GM or a personnel guy that misses.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Right now, people are still mad at Gus Malzahn because Lamar Jackson didn't go to Auburn. Lamar Jackson literally is won multiple MVPs in the league now, and it's like, oh man, you remember back in 2015, people are mad at Deshaun Watson not going to UGA. I mean, it's part of the business. Nobody's going to bet 1,000%. So I wanted to get that out there. But as far as changes, I say I think the change really starts with Coach Prime, to be honest.
Yep.
I think that's the most different I guess factor, and what's making the most impact is that Coach Prime is involved in more. I mean, and he's supposed to delegate. You're supposed to be the CEO. The CEO isn't supposed to be making the burgers, right? The CEO of McDonald's should not be, you know, on the assembly line. Right. But the CEO should know how to run the assembly line in case everybody calls out. And I think that's what Coach Prime has done. If everybody's out of the office, Coach Prime can still run the operation. And I think that's the difference. Where it's like, hey, look, what are you doing? Show me exactly what your job is.